Dear talented craftswomen, I warmly greet you and am delighted to present to you my new project for knitting some charming New Year's decor, specifically a winter house and a snowman. These lessons will be posted separately. In the joint project, we will knit them together. Now, I will just take a moment to show you a bit closer these intricate and specific details that we will be carefully knitting together in our comprehensive video lesson. The little snowman knits up very quickly. For experienced knitters, it will take about 2 to 3 to 4 hours to complete. The little house takes a bit longer. It's small, the body knits up quickly, but assembling all the details might be a bit more challenging to put together. As for the approximate dimensions, the width of the house on all sides is about 18 centimeters here. The roof is 21 centimeters, and the height is around 20 visual centimeters. The little snowman is 9 to 10 centimeters tall. Well, I haven't measured all the other parts and details. I'll show them during the process. For the house, I used up 2 skeins and literally 10 to 20 meters from a third skein of polyester cord, and each skein has 100 meters. So if you genuinely want to, you can easily reduce the walls by literally just 1 or 2 stitches and then completely decrease the floor and also 2 of the walls. In that particular way, you can effectively fit everything into precisely 2 skeins of yarn, making it a very efficient use of your materials. I'll explain all of this during the knitting process, so listen carefully. And this information will also be in the description. Girls, regarding the materials, let me tell you what we'll need. For the body of the house, my second house will be in a beige shade. You'll need 2 skeins and about 10 to 20 meters from a third skein. I'll explain how to use just 2 skeins in the masterclass. Next, this is 3 millimeters. 1 skein will be used entirely for the snow, the roof, and the mat. 3 millimeters as well, also polyester. For the snow, we'll also need this kind of fancy boucle yarn, Knit Me Anakusuzu, 100 grams, 100 meters. Please note. For the snowman, we'll also need a white but thinner cord, 2 to 2.5 millimeters polyester. This is half a cord I have here. I used the first half for the first snowman. And of course, our classic festive colors, green and red, also 2 millimeters, for the wreath decorations, scarf, hat, and the snowman. That's the main part. Yes. Now let's move on to the decorations. You actually don't need much for the decorations. For example, snowflakes, pendants, buttons. For instance, I used a twig and I'll use a second one as well. I also have this kind of snowflake. Maybe I'll use it. I'll see how it looks visually as I go along. On the beige house, you can add more red elements, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Now I'll show you the tools and then we'll get started. So let's talk about the most important tools. For crocheting, we'll need 3 hook sizes. These are size 3, 3.5, and 4. For different elements, you'll need different hooks, and the same goes for the patterns. So I'll explain as we go along. Also, you'll need needles and threads that match the color of your cords for sewing in the ends. Most of the ends can be singed because there will be a lot of them. And if you're making it for yourself, for example, and you don't mind if something inside isn't perfectly neat, then you can just singe the ends. If it's for an order or as a gift, then for neatness, you'll need to sew them in. Glue. For the snowman, I glued on beads for the eyes and nose, and also a little tree-shaped pom-pom on the belly, because it's hard to sew it there. Any kind of super glue is enough. Scissors, of course, a needle. It can be plastic. I actually have some plastic ones here. But if it's plastic, it's better if it's smaller. This part of the eye should be smaller. I have a metal one. It's perfect. It'll pierce really well. Those spots that need to be sewn. And a marker. Markers are necessary. With their invaluable help, it will be much easier to accurately keep track when meticulously knitting the intricate walls of the entire house. I will thoroughly explain why this is the case. And you might also need some pins. For example, I really needed them when I was carefully attaching the small beads. They have tiny holes for the snowman's expressive eyes. And I also used pins to temporarily fix the delicate decorations on the house to clearly see how it would look, and only after that did I sew or glue them on securely. That's the main part. Let's get to work. Let's now move on to the actual construction of the house, specifically focusing on the main body of the house. This involves working on the essential structural elements, which are the walls. So we are now progressing to the detailed process of crocheting the entire house structure. We will begin this intricate process with the very first section, which is the front wall, precisely where the primary door opening will be located. The door is crocheted separately and it can even open. The next wall will be the one with the window, like this, and two identical side walls. The roof is crocheted separately, as you can see. You can put a garland in here and you'll get this kind of effect. Yes. And then the whole thing is covered. I'm doing this with one hand because I'm holding the phone. Well, everything can be adjusted and fixed in place, like this. Now, we will proceed to move on to the next important section of our discussion. To begin crocheting this beautiful front wall, we will need to prepare our materials. To crochet the wall of the house, we need a size 4 hook. Yes. And your 3mm cord. Let's start crocheting. I'm showing everything in detail for those who are just starting to crochet so that everything is clear. We start with a slip knot. Place the short end of the cord over the long end. This is how we grab the whole thing. Hold it with your thumb and middle finger, and the cord rests on your index finger. Insert the hook from underneath. This is how you make the grab. And we pull and draw out our initial chain. Now we need to cast on 26 working stitches and 1 turning chain, so that's 27 stitches in total. We cast them on loosely, meaning there should be a bit of space. The overall size of your stitch should be about like this, a perfect example, not too tight at all, and certainly not like this particular one, you clearly see. We will gently pull it out a little bit now. Later we'll crochet tightly, but the first row, the first stitches, should be more or less relaxed. We will cast on 1 stitch, 2. We are counting the numbers in sequence, 3 followed by 4, then 5, next is 6, and finally 7. These are consecutive integers. We begin by counting 8, then 9, followed by 10, and then 11. Next we have 12, and after that 13, continuing with 14, and then 15. We proceed to 16, then 17, moving on to 18, and then 19. We reach 20, then 21, followed by 22, and then 23. We continue with 24, then 25, next is 26, and finally 27. This completes the 27th lifting loop, making sure each loop is perfectly formed and counted precisely. Let's count the loops. The knot does not count. Let's count the pigtails. That's it. 1, 2, 3. We have 4, then comes 5, followed by 6. Next we have 7, and finally we reach 8. It twisted 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Note that the loop on the hook is never counted. Next, we turn our work like this, with the back loops facing us. Here they are, the back loops. So the pigtails we were counting were facing us like this. We turned it this way, and now these back loops are facing us. We skip the first back loop, which is right under the working yarn, and insert the hook under the second one. Just like that. We catch the working yarn and crochet tightly, meaning from the very first stitches we crochet tightly. And we pull through the 2 loops on the hook. This loop is short. The first single crochet is done. Again, we insert the hook under the next bar. They grabbed and tied too tightly. This one is short. They also started captured, taken out. It shouldn't be too big here either. It will be tighter. And here's a short one. Next jumper. They brought it in, they brought it out. Knitted. They started it. They brought it out, they knitted it. So we move to the end of the row. You should end up with 26 columns. I'll definitely show you how to count them at the end. For now, keep going, knitting the jumpers. If you lose track of the jumpers with your eyes, turn it to the braids. Then turn it back to the jumpers again. And they'll be more visible to you, this kind of shifting focus. And so you pierce through your jumpers while the braids stay on this side. Also pay attention, you can check yourself. We move to the end of the row and meet right here. We've reached the last jumper. Here is the last braid. The jumper is located above the knot and the braid. Here it is. We insert the hook under it. On this side, the braid remains. We grab it. Oops. Got it through. We grab the working yarn. Pull it out, not too long, and then crochet 2 loops on the hook. This is how you should have 26 stitches. Pull out the loop on the hook. This loop doesn't count. And we count the stitches by the braids. By these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So in total, we now have exactly 26 stitches. This is the final count for our project. Make a turning chain. Always when moving to the next row, make a turning chain. Turn. I'm showing you the pattern we'll use to crochet absolutely all the walls of our little house, except for the bottom. This is how your work looks at you. You need to insert the hook. Here's your first braid. There's a braid from which our working loop comes out. Here it is. We don't touch it. Here's our first braid, the first working one. Here we have a short loop on the hook. Like this, right? We insert the hook into the first braid, so inside under, as if the upper or the bar furthest from us, the back bar. We inserted it behind this bar, and then at the base of the stitches, right? If you turn it like this, you'll also have a braid on this side. And we need to go into the bar of the first braid from below, into the bar that faces opposite this bar. Insert the hook. Carefully grab the working yarn and gently pull it through these 2 distinct bars, ensuring a smooth and even tension as you proceed with your stitch. Pull out the loop, not too long, and crochet 2 loops on the hook. That's it. This is our crochet element, which we'll constantly use to crochet the body of our little house. We find the next braid. And its prominent bar, the upper one specifically. I'll call it the upper one. We turn the work like this, the upper bar. The upper bar is directly opposite it on this particular side. We also carefully insert the crochet hook underneath it, then gently catch the working yarn and slowly pull out a very short loop. It is absolutely crucial to make sure that this loop is indeed quite short, and then we meticulously crochet the 2 loops that are currently on the hook together. This specific loop absolutely must be kept short so that it remains nice and tight and secure. And in this way, we move to the end of the row. We insert the hook under the upper bars of 2 distinct rows of chains Then carefully catch the working yarn and subsequently crochet 2 loops on the hook together, completing the stitch. The same way, one then the other. Crochet them together. First one, then the other one is done. Crochet them together. A bit later, I'll explain how we will count our rows and why we need markers. We will use the markers to mark our work. We continue moving to the end of the row. Do not skip any bars. We'll meet at the end and continue. We've reached the end of the row and we have 2 stitches left to crochet. Here is one row of bars and here is the second. Insert the hook under the second to less bars, pull through and crochet. And the last ones, here they are in the next rows. This bar will be a bit shorter and tighter. I'll show you this so you don't miss it. Here we insert the hook like this and grab the working yarn. This spot is a bit awkward, but it's the only one like that. And crochet the 2 loops on the hook. You should also end up with 26 stitches here, 26 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Check yourself. The lifting loop has turned around. On this side, our pattern looks like this for now, and on this side, it looks like this. So right now we can clearly see the bars facing each other, which we will be connecting. This is how we will move row by row. Let's start together. I'll point out the nuances in this pattern so you're prepared for them. So we insert the hook under the first chain. Pay attention to where our first chain is. Here, not this one where the working yarn comes out, but this one. Insert under one bar, then under the opposite bar, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops on the hook. And here, be careful not to insert the hook again into the same chain, but into the next one. That's incorrect. The correct way is to insert the hook under the next chain and its corresponding one. In this pattern, very often, when you lose concentration, it happens that you crochet something twice, skip something else, and then the pattern gets messed up. Again, not here but into the next one. So just learn to control this. And if you make a mistake, just know what the reason is. Again, the next one and the next one, the bars are facing each other. If you have a feeling that the bars you need to crochet have shifted a bit, it most likely means you really made a mistake in the previous rows. And this is how we continue moving to the end of the row. Continue on your own journey, and then we will meet at the very end and continue further. So again, there are just 2 stitches remaining left. Here is the very important second to last stitch. And the last one. I want to draw your attention to how the last stitch looks, because it usually looks like this. Here we have the first bar and the second one is right next to it. It's pulled tight. See? Here they are. You can see how they look lying side by side. That's right, they've just tightened up from the knitting. So just know that at the end, this is how it will look for you. Yarn over and pull through both loops on the hook. You should have 26 stitches again. Check your work. Chain stitches for turning. Let's see how we keep track of the rows. So the row, since we have two sides, look different, so we count the row. Where it looks like this, where there's no ribbing, so you get the idea visually. The first row is here. You can tell by the bars, the row of bars. The second one is here. Place a marker on this side. This marker will indicate that this is the facade of our house, not the inside of the wall, but the outside. From the third row, we will now begin to carefully form the actual door opening. How exactly is this process accomplished? Now, at this particular stage, we specifically need to crochet just 9 individual columns. And bring them up like this. I'll tell you how high. To form just one part of the entire wall next to your door. Then we'll crochet this part, and after that we'll join everything together. So crochet 9, that is using the same pattern, just 9 stitches. Insert the hook, yarn over, crochet it, 1. Next, insert the hook, yarn over, crochet it. 2. First insert the crochet hook, then yarn over, and finally crochet it through. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. We've done 9 stitches, make a turning chain. Turn your work and crochet 9 stitches in this direction. To know exactly which bar to insert the hook into, just count the bars from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here's the bar where I insert the hook. Inserted it, crocheted, inserted it, crocheted, just like that. Keep going to the end. Crochet tightly. Notice our bars again. And here the picture gets even more interesting. This is my little piece here. See how it's pulled tight? And it's hidden under this bar. But if you do it like this, you'll see it. Be prepared for it to pull in like that. Okay, inserted it. Pulled through, crocheted. The loop turned under it. We're moving along, crocheting 9 stitches up to the 10th row, meaning if we count here, 1, 2, 3, 10, and then we'll start decreasing for the roof, for the tapering. So up to the 10th row, we keep going like this on our own. Now I'll do one more row with you here, and then you can continue on your own. That is where we make the stitches in the same way. like this. And here we go again, just once with this. Please take careful note of this important point right here. These are in fact our very last remaining crossbars, which are crucial for the completion of our project. Pulled through. Caught, pulled out, tied off. And please don't forget about the lifting loop. It needs to be turned around just like this for proper operation. You should have 9 or 10 rows on this side, that is, where the marker is. From here, count 10 rows. Full rows like these. So continue on your own up to the 10th row, following the same pattern. We'll meet up and see how it's turning out. So here's a completed section of 10 rows. We count 10 rows from the side where the marker is facing us. Let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is exactly how it should look after 10 rows. Next, we begin narrowing the roof. We will be making decreases on both sides so that we end up with a roof like this. But while we're shaping the door opening, we only decrease on one side. How do you make a decrease? Turn your work so that these bars are facing you, so you can see what you're doing. We carefully insert the hook directly under the first 2 horizontal bars, as is our usual practice. Pull the working yarn through, and without finishing the stitch, insert the hook under the next 2 bars. Like this. Yarn over, pull up a loop, and now we have 3 loops on the hook. We have successfully knitted 3 stitches. Next, we will continue as usual for 8 more stitches, following the established pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, actually 7, not 8, but 7, because we already had 9. 7. Turning chain. Done your work. We knit this side simply, without any decreases. I'll show you how we finish the row at the end. Here it's quite similar to precisely how we carefully knit this intricate pattern you see. Look, here we just have 1 stitch left right here. This one was hidden, and here are 2 more left. So we knit into this second to last stitch, not the last one, but the second to last. And the last one just stays as it is. So you insert the hook like this and then like that. Yarn over. Turning chain. I turn the work. Now we have not 9 but 8 stitches here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The turning chain doesn't count. Here it is, the turning chain. Again, we make decreases the same way. 1 decrease. We insert the hook under the first 2 stitches and under the next 2. And we crochet together the 3 loops on the hook. Next we continue. As usual. Turning chain. Turn the work and crochet without any decreases. Decreases. Just by analogy, as we did before. So what we get is that on one side we make decreases and on the other side we don't. And so every other row is knitted. Please note, one pattern row and one knitted row are different things because our row consists of 2 or 3 knitted rows. Yes. And here again we knit this bridge, not this edge one, but this second to last one. Here I seem to have picked up too many stitches. Let's see. Yes, here is a bridge and here is a bridge. Yes. Turning chain. Let's look where the marker is. This is what the beginning of the tapering looks like. We have a total of 12 rows knitted. There should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The height of the door ends here. So that's how it turned out for me here. 8 centimeters. We don't cut the yarn, we just leave the skein like this to the side and take the second skein that we have. And now we will carefully start knitting from this particular side. We need to precisely count out exactly 9 individual chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But we insert the hook into the 10th one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here we also count 9 bars and insert into the 10th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and insert into the 10th. Grab the working yarn. Grab the working yarn. Please carefully pull it all the way through now. And then we continue knitting, carefully making our standard stitches. So right here is precisely where we initially started. This is our foundational turning chain. And then we just continue knitting as usual, following the established pattern, as like this. Every 2 stitches that are directly facing each other, you will carefully join them together, just like this, you see. Now take a look. There should also be 9 stitches. Now let's count them together. We don't make the turning chain yet. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This one also counts as a stitch. The turning chain has now been successfully turned. Next, we will carefully knit 9 stitches once again, following the pattern precisely. Let's do this row together, then continue on your own up to the 10th row. Just like that. We are knitting it together now. And now, please look very carefully and observe the final crucial stitch being made. Here it is. Right here, right here. Please count them, your chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The loop on the hook doesn't count. That's the turning chain. We turn around and knit up to row 10 without any decreases. Next, we'll have 2 rows of decreases on this side, and then we'll join the roof. Here, 10 rows have also been knitted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Next, we knit 2 rows with decreases. The decreases will be on this side. So here we just start knitting according to our pattern. Let's do this together. We knit 1 more and then we'll knit 2 together. Knit the last 2 together. So we have the last 2 stitches left. We bring the hook forward to the last stitches, yarn over, and without finishing, insert into the last stitches again. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. The first decrease is done, make a turning chain. Turn your work. Here we will knit without any decreases, simply working 1 stitch less than before. This method ensures a smooth and consistent fabric. We should have 8 stitches. And again, we do the same with this edge bar that is extra here. We don't knit it anymore. We start knitting from the second one. Inserted the hook. And we will continue working like this all the way to the very end of the entire row. Thank you for watching. Here you should have 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A turning chain. Turn your work. Again, there will be a decrease right here on this side. We repeat the decreases once more. We do this when the marker is facing us. That's when we make the decreases. This is your reference point so you don't get confused. There are 2 stitches left, crochet them together. And we crochet 1 more row in this direction and then we'll join. Here as well, don't crochet the edge stitch. Start crocheting from the second stitch at the bottom, and here is the first one. Crochet it. Yes. And the last one here. Mine is really hidden. Yes, we've crocheted it. Let's see what we have. Don't cut anything yet. This is what it looks like. This will be outdoors. Now, we will start the process of finishing our roof, or rather, our entire rooftop. And we will continue working from this point here. So, at this specific juncture,
we truly need to carefully bring out our working yarn without creating a turning chain. This little tail can be hidden later, either glued or sewn on. I suggest tucking it behind this bridge so it lies neatly. That's the first thing. Secondly, polyester cord tends to unravel, so burn the end, otherwise you'll be dealing with these loose ends for a long time. So by the time we hide them, some time will have passed, so that it doesn't unravel on you. And next, we'll continue moving like this. Insert the hook into the turning chain. This will be our 13th row, and here we continue making decreases. In every single row, on the side with the designated marker, we will carefully make 2 decreases, one on each of the opposing sides. Let's keep going. Insert the hook. Under the first 2 stitches, carefully yarn over the hook, but do not complete the stitch. Then, without finishing that stitch, gently insert your hook under the next 2 stitches on the needle. Pull through all 3 loops on the hook. Next, we continue to the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next we have right here, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 just unworked stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we will now carefully chain 8 individual stitches. Let's count them out precisely. 1, then 2, followed by 3, then 4, continuing with 5, then 6, and we will stop there for now. 7, 8. Next, we start joining with this side. We find the first chain. Like this, we turned it around. The first chain, here it is. From which our tail comes out and the next bridge. If you want a working yarn, you should tie 2 distinct loops onto the hook. We just move like this, you see, it's quite simple. And like this. And for the last 2, we make a decrease, don't forget. We make a decrease. Yes, it was carefully inserted and then gently pulled through, and the very last one was hidden quite well. I crocheted all 3 loops on the hook, then a turning chain. We turn around. Here we will crochet without any decreases, but we will be starting from the second lower bridge specifically. 1, 2, just. We are now counting the numbers in a sequence, starting with the number 3, then proceeding to the number 4, and subsequently moving on to the number 5, and so forth, continuing this numerical progression. 6, whether it's important. Right here, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. We've now reached the chains, and at this point we absolutely need to attach with single crochets only into this specific bridge. If the crochet piece is facing directly towards us like this, then starting from the very first chain, we will begin our work. We need to insert into the back bridge, this one right here. Yarn over the hook, then attach 1 new stitch and crochet quite tightly. 2, there should be 8 stitches. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8. Next, we continue joining here. Yes. Yes. And carefully, the last braid. Here we have 2 bridges pulled together. We knit into this one. There was a beam here. As you remember, we don't tie the last one, only the second to last. They're not very visible here for me, but I think you've already grasped the logic. I grabbed too much. 1, 2 here. Pulled through, knitted, turning chain. This is what we have. At this stage, let's count how many chains we have. I'll set aside the turning chains for now, and we'll count how many braids we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. The turning chain has twisted. Now we do it again. The marker is facing us, and we make decreases again. 2 on each side. Insert into the corresponding ones. Bridges 1, which are the initial connections, corresponding to bridges 2, which are the subsequent connections, are carefully stitched together. Next, we proceed to move along the entire structure, meticulously stitching one section at a time, ensuring a seamless and robust connection throughout the process. Yes. Like this. Here we have 5 stitches. And next we have a prominent row of these distinctive columns positioned above the grand doors that have now fully formed. And here we also have these intricate bridges, which we meticulously stitch together as well. According to our pattern, we then insert it accordingly into the system, into the corresponding ones, and we should ideally have exactly 8 such distinct passes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Three. 4. 5. I'm completely and absolutely ready now. 6. Try not to significantly change the tension because it can really affect the overall visual appearance. 7. And 8. And then again, we have several additional passes. At the very end of this overall process, we make a final decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 knit together. This is a decrease where 5 and 6 are. We knit them together for a decrease, skipping 1 without knitting it. We've knitted all 3. Now we should have 18 posts here. Chain stitch, then turn, and we knit the entire next row. Without decreases, just knitting into the corresponding chains, starting here from the first one, here from the second. Don't forget. Continue to the end of the row on your own. Next, I'll explain the principle of our work. And now, everything here is clear. Here, our row has already evened out, and we will be knitting the bridges. Accordingly, this should be clearly visible. We will then finish knitting all the way to the very end of the current row, and after that I will thoroughly explain the fundamental principle of working our way up to the top of the piece, which you can use to finish the knitting, and we'll only do the very corner together at the end. Let's go. Yes, we've almost reached the end. The last 2 ties. 1, 2. Pay attention. The last crossbar is not tied. Alright, let's count how many rows we have at this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We continue on our own, narrowing our roof from both sides. Make increases when the marker is facing you, that is, in this position, as we are about to knit now. The number will decrease. Now it's 18, then 16, 14, 12, 10, and so on. So we will carefully go down to 4 stitches. When we have precisely 4 stitches left, we will then meet up and finish this project together. And the first piece will be ready. So let's go, keep working upwards, and we'll meet at the end. Right, the house is almost shaped, the first wall of the house. I've stopped at the point where I have 4 stitches left to knit. And let's count the rows, how many rows there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 21 rows. We make a turning chain. Turn to the side where the marker is and make decreases. Here 2 decreases are made per row because we have exactly 4 stitches. We knit them together. The first and second are knitted together. And the third and fourth together. Turning chain. And we almost have a corner formed. We turn. Here right away we knit the middle as a decrease. That is, we skip these ones. We don't knit the first and last stitches. We knit these as a decrease. We are looking at 1, and then we are also considering 2. And so if you carefully observe it from this perspective, you will clearly see that here is your very first tip, and here is your the initial blank space is now completely ready for the next step. Before we proceed further, let's meticulously count the rows once more to ensure absolute accuracy and precision in our work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. We have 22 rows. Well, you could say 22 and a half, but let's count it as 22. Cut off the tip. Like this. And here, the wrong side, which is the less attractive side of the fabric, will be positioned on this particular side. So we carefully hide it just like this underneath these 2 existing stitches. Look closely. From the side perspective, you can see how neatly it's concealed, like this. Like this.
However, it's crucial not to pull it excessively tight, ensuring that the distinctive corner of the roof remains clearly visible and prominently displayed. Subsequently, we will carefully conceal it securely in this specific location. For the time being, we will gently singe the very tip of it to effectively prevent any potential fraying or unraveling, maintaining its integrity. Now let's proceed to carefully measure our blank space. For the width, I meticulously measured it and found it to be precisely 16.5 inches. As for the height, my measurements indicated it was exactly 18.5 inches. Furthermore, the door opening itself, which is a crucial detail, measures 4.5 inches wide. These precise dimensions are essential for our next steps in the project. And here we have 8.5, well, approximately. This is just for your reference as well. Everyone will have their own measurements because we all crochet differently with our own tension. I highly recommend weaving in the ends as you go, not leaving them all for the very end because there will be a lot of them. It will just be exhausting otherwise. So after you've finished one or two parts, weave in the ends. I'll show you how using one example. Here I have an end piece sticking out, which is positioned on the very outside, specifically on the front side. Therefore, we absolutely need to carefully hide it completely inside. There are several ways to do this. Well, the simplest way, in my opinion, is to take a smaller hook and insert it into. Here it is from the inside. Look, right here, at this spot where we have this bridge. And if we tuck this end in here, it will follow the path of this bridge and it basically won't be visible. Well, you need to tighten it a little. Yes, indeed. It's quite hard to carefully pull out the burnt tip, precisely because it's located right here, in this particular spot. And from this side, nothing is visible. Here, to carefully hide and securely sew it in, first cut off the burnt part because it will be quite difficult to work with, and then gently tuck it under a few existing knitted stitches, just like this. Take a sturdy needle with a strong thread, and you can then sew it in completely invisibly. Oh, and unfortunately, my marker just broke at this very moment. Now I have a new one. Let the markers absolutely stay in place. Let them remain there for your complete comfort and ease, so that you definitely don't get confused later on about precisely which particular side is the front of your project and which one is the back section. Yes, absolutely. And we sew it in. You can sew it in so that nothing will be visible at all. That is, we need to insert the needle deeper so that it pierces both the knitting and the tail that's inside. To make sure the stitches aren't visible, insert the needle into the same spots where it comes out. Look, here it came out for me. So I insert it here and move in the opposite direction. Polyester cord is quite easy to pierce, so sewing it up is a relatively simple and straightforward process. Next, we will carefully proceed to cut off the remaining tail, and it is also very important and highly recommended to stitch it a few times in this particular manner so that it does not unravel. Therefore, right at the precise point of the cut, you should diligently stitch it a few times to secure it properly. We don't make knots, we cut it off. The thread. This is how we hide all the ends. The second option is to burn the end. That is, you hide it, cut it off, and glue it neatly somehow. This is more of a quick option. If you're making it for yourself and not to order, and you don't care how it looks inside, then that's the whole story. If it's for an order or as a gift, then everything needs to be hemmed. I won't show the process on camera any further. Let's now proceed and move on to this second blank space, which will definitely have a window, providing a clear view. It will only differ by this rise here. So we'll go through this stage together, and then you'll continue on your own by analogy, just like we knitted this part. We'll start creating the second part of our little house, or more precisely, the opposite wall, only with a window. We need to carefully knit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 full and complete rows. before we even begin to start making the window opening. I'll start the process with you and we'll meet again at the window opening. We make the first stitch the same way, also using the 4th hook. Yarn over and we are completely done. Our cast on is not too tight at all. We have 26 stitches plus 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Starting our count, we have the number 3, followed by 4, then 5, moving steadily to 6, and subsequently 7. We continue our progression with 8, then 9, reaching the significant milestone of 10. After 10, we proceed to 11, then 12, followed by 13, and then 14. Our count progresses further to 15, then 16, subsequently 17, and then 18. We are nearing the end of our sequence with 19, and finally, we conclude our count with the number 20, marking the completion of this numerical progression. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and the turning chain 27. Next, we turn the chain over, and starting from the second loop, skipping the first one, we insert the hook and crochet single crochets. Continue to the end of the row on your own. Next, we'll meet again, start the first row, and then do 5 rows on your own. The first row is almost finished. There are just 2 stitches left to work through the bars, the last 2. Don't skip the last bar, it's right next to the knot. And the last stitches, specifically above the knot and above the last stitch. Pulled through, check yourself to make sure you have 26 stitches. The turning chain is done, and we continue with our pattern. Everything is exactly the same. This is how we continue until we have 5 rows. We'll meet again. I'll show you where to place the marker, and then we'll start making the window. Let's go. We've successfully finished 5 complete rows. Count 5 from this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And from this side, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like 4.5, right? This is our front side. I want to draw your attention to the fact that it's quite easy to identify it by the bottom row. This row of bars is closer to the wrong side, over there. So if you're looking from this side, this row is the wrong side and this is our front side. We place the marker and we'll start knitting the window. We're going to knit it to size in exactly the same way. So we are going to knit 9 stitches and then we will be moving up to the 12th row of our pattern. Here we meticulously count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 stitches, and it is precisely on the 13th stitch that we will begin the process of joining our work. It will be the same here. We'll start from the 6th row, yes, move up to the 12th, and from the 13th we'll start joining. And we'll repeat this movement here. Up to the 10th row, we don't do any decreases, then 2 rows with decreases, and after that, joining. On this side, we'll crochet absolutely identically as well. 9 columns. Up to row 12, up to 10 without decreases, then decreases on this side, then we join together. So we move exactly as in the first part of the sleeve, only here it's just wider. We'll start together and finish on our own following that sleeve. Knit 9 stitches, 2 together, then knit 9 more stitches, 2 together, and continue this pattern. Two, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 10th lifting loop has turned. The marker is always your reference point for where your right side is. Do not remove it. Now count these lower bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? And so that you insert your hook correctly. And so we continue up to row 10 without wraps and up to row 12 with wraps. And then you move over here. So we knit this part on our own, following the same method as the video tutorial for this one. When we finish knitting these two parts, we will move on to the side walls. There I will explain how to make sure you use only 2 skeins of yarn, because there is a chance that if you knit strictly according to my calculations, you might fit into 2 skeins, and by following my calculations, but you might also end up short by about 10 to 15 meters like I did. So just to be safe, I will suggest an alternative for you. All right, let's go, let's move on, and we'll meet again in our next segment. Before knitting the side part, I'll show you on the red house how it looks. It's not very tall, only up to row 10. You knit it up to the point where the decreases begin. On the roof. Right. And 2 little windows are knitted in. I think the knitting principle is clear. We will knit it in precisely the same manner as the openings for the doors and also the really big window you see. I'll explain the calculations as we go along. If you're still worried that you won't fit into 2 skeins, yes, since you only have 2 of them, you can effectively reduce these parts by 2 stitches. Here you will decrease by 2, and over here you will also decrease by 2. Essentially, you just need to decrease the stitches. So instead of casting on 26, for example, as we're about to do, you would cast on 22. And by changing just this, yes, you'll have a smaller side, but you'll still have plenty of cord left because this will also affect the base. Or by 1, for example. Reducing by 1 might actually be enough as well. Well, now I'm going to start knitting and I'll talk about all of this as we go. This is just your first point of reference. Let's start knitting. We're starting to knit the side panels. By the way, they're identical. So you'll need to knit 2 identical side panels. The beginning of the knitting here is the same as for the front and back panels. So I won't focus too much attention on this part now. We start with a slip knot and cast on 26 stitches plus 1 turning chain. If you plan to make the panel smaller to fit into 2 skeins, cast on, for example, 24 or 22 stitches. It depends on how cautious you want to be. I am carefully casting on 26 stitches. Let's count them precisely. 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 26 stitches. And then the turning chain, which is essential for starting the next row. Next, we need to knit 3 complete rows, ensuring each stitch is formed correctly and evenly. 1, 2, 3, before we actually start making the actual windows. So from the right side, there should be exactly 3 full and complete rows. Carefully aligned. We'll knit this on our own, just like we did with the previous panels. Alright, carefully insert the hook securely under the second bar, and then let's proceed. We will continue our work on the 3rd row now. So we've knitted 3 rows of the side wall. 1, 2, 3. We've placed a marker. On this side, it's 1, 2.5, like 2.5. Next, we start knitting the window. If you have 26 stitches, then you knit 6 columns. If you have fewer stitches, for example, 24, you knit 5 columns. If you have 22, then 4 columns. I'm knitting 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A turning chain we turn, and now 6. In the other direction, or your own value if you change the calculation. Here we check ourselves as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just like that. We need to knit 4 rows upwards. 4 rows if you count from the right side. So in this particular instance, we will move up exactly 4 rows, and then subsequently we will move on to the very next important part of our discussion. And yes, 4 rows are attached here. In total, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or if you count from here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we step back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Braids for the window opening. So we carefully take a brand new thread, and then we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We then gently insert it under the 5th one, and right here we really need to make a small secure loop to properly start from. Here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like this. It's better to hold the tail here. Overall, that's essentially it. We don't make any more additional loops here in this particular section. And there will be a gap of 4 stitches between the windows. So we insert it into the next one. Yes, we carefully pull it through, securely tied it. That's one down. Next up, we have 2, then 3, and finally 4. And the lifting loop we turn around. And we crochet 4 double crochets. How do we check which stitch to insert the hook into? Well, we need to count from here. There should be 5 for the window. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 4 for the double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. This 4th one is exactly where we insert the hook. And I tied it. 3 and 4. Here it is. The 4th one is completely tied, perfectly secured, and firmly fastened. Turning chain. We move on again. 4 rows up. Another 3, so 3 more rows up. And we'll crochet the last fragment. Yes, 4 rows are tied here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't make a turning chain. We pull out a small end, cut it off, and for now it will wait its turn. We just need to burn it later. But first, do you know how we'll hide it? Right here, right here. And we burn it. And after hiding the end, we move on to the last fragment. Here we also skip 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We insert into the 5th one. There should be 6 left here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we insert into the 5th one like this. Or fewer if you change the number of your stitches. Cast on stitches. Yes, I will also burn this end, the one I started knitting with. I take the yarn and pull out my first working loop. And then I crochet 6 stitches. 1, you can tighten it here. 2, 3, 4, 5,
6, a turning chain, and we will now knit another 4 complete rows on this particular side. And next we will join the entire upper part of the wall into a single piece. Right, and here we finished with a turning chain. We carefully cut the tail, then discreetly hide it away, and finally we gently singe it. Now please turn your skein in this particular way. Turned it. And what we do is we carefully and deliberately hide it away from view, ensuring it remains concealed. And now we are going to bring this entire comprehensive thing together completely. Here we knit 6 stitches, or however many you have. Next we have exactly 5 stitches positioned between the armholes, so we will carefully pick up precisely 5 stitches. 1, a single unit. 2, a pair of items. 3, a group of 3. 4, a set of 4. 5, a collection of 5, and so on. We will join the story right here at this very moment. We carefully made 4 individual chain stitches, and then following that we created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 additional chain stitches, completing this particular segment, and that's the completion of this step. Now, with careful attention to detail, we will proceed to join these newly formed stitches much more precisely and securely with our existing stitches. 1, 2, I personally have 6. You might also have 6 or perhaps 5 or even 4.
Yes. The lifting loop. We turn around. Let's keep crocheting. Here's 6. For your value? Yes. Next, on these foundational chains, we will crochet directly into that back bar, the one that is further away from us, carefully. With single crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5. There should definitely be 5, exactly 5 in total. Next, 4 according to the pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, you will insert 5 stitches into the back loop, into the back bar of each and every chain. And the stitches without a yarn over, that's according to the pattern. The last 2 stitches remain. The turning chain has now completely turned, and now we will move over here to this next section right here. Right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We need 10 rows. So 2 more rows. Now let's do a little more together and then we'll finish on our own. Let me emphasize once again, very clearly and thoroughly, how to properly bind off, and specifically how to meticulously knit the armholes directly above the window opening. That is to say, we carefully perform this intricate process over these particular bars. Here, you will observe that they are very nicely and precisely aligned directly opposite each other, creating a perfect symmetry. Knit quite tightly. Do not alter the tension at all, so that we can achieve the most perfectly even little rectangles possible. And this is how we continue up to the 10th row. Please continue working on your own. We will meet again shortly and then move forward with our next steps. Alright, let's finally finish up this knitting project. And here, right here, is our beautifully finished piece. We no longer create this particular kind of rise. We have carefully cut it off completely. For now, we hide it like this. If you're going to sew it right now, you don't need to burn the end. If you'll do it later, it's better to burn it. What do we have in terms of size? This particular piece that I currently have is a little bit longer, measuring 17 inches by 8.5 inches. Here. We knit a second piece just like this one. Next we'll make the bottom, or rather the floor. And when all the parts of the house frame are crocheted, we'll make the windows and doors together. We'll do all this before sewing our piece together, so it's much more comfortable to do it right now. Then after that we move on to sewing the roof and so on. So knit the second piece on your own and then we'll continue.